Hello all and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I'm sitting here by this campfire with all this ambience to share with you all the story about some Ponytown cults. A list of them, if you will, a few of them, if you will. Now I want to preface this video by saying that these cults aren't anything bad, there's nothing wrong with them, there's nothing bad about them, and there's no real life elements to them necessarily that I have been able to gather from any of them. It's more so a roleplay thing and something that almost kind of adds its own little bit of lore to Ponytown. Now, this obviously isn't official lore. None of this stuff is official or anything like that, but it makes the game very interesting to see these cults pop up and do their own thing. So, with that said, let's talk about the Cults of Ponytown. Starting this list off, I'm going to start with the least cult-like and move on up to the most cult-like, with number 1 being the Void Cult. Now, the Void Cult is a very interesting cult. The Void Cult is a group of very, very Void-like characters. They're all solid black. Some of them you may see their eyes. Some of them may have like really red eyes or other colored eyes or just eyes in general, and that's all you can see besides this weird blob of black that's around. And this blob, this void character, is normally around many other void characters, and it is a very cult-like thing because it seems to draw in people and turn other people into void-like characters and stuff like that. It's a very interesting thing to watch. Some of them, of course, will fuse with each other, so to speak. It's very interesting to see. Basically, they get a bunch of different characters that are void, and they combine, they sit next to each other and stuff like that to create these very interesting void beasts, if you will. And it's a very interesting thing to see. Some of them will actually be floating, seemingly floating at least. They obviously have wings. There's a very interesting thing that you can do in the game where if you can combine certain parts such as like the hair with the changeling wings and the tail and certain aspects like that, you can actually combine certain parts of a character to basically fly without wings, except you actually have wings. It just looks like you're not flapping any wings and you can't see any wings, so it just looks like you're floating. It's a very interesting effect. I really love seeing them and stuff like that. And the Void Cults, I've had my own run-in with them before. They have chased me around before because they're trying to get more people into the void, I guess. But all that said, it's a very fun group and it's the least cult-like of them all, but you still got to be careful because you never know if you might fall into the void. Number 2 on this list is the Mast Cult. The Mast Cult is a very interesting one as well. I have a video on the Mast Cult and everything like that, so if you're curious of the Mast Cult, you can click the card in the top right corner, or you can, of course, wait till the end of the video and check out those in-screen cards to see those and get a direct link there, in case I forget the card thing. But suffice it to say, the Mast Cult is a very interesting one. It is a very simple one as well. They worship a goddess, like an actual goddess, called Atuitis. I believe I'm saying that right. Atuitis is their goddess. It is the goddess of stealth, and they seem to worship this goddess, and the cult's goal is to spread positivity and, of course, kindness, and, of course, watch over people and make sure things are all good and all right. It's a very spy-like group. It's a very spy-like cult, I guess I should say. They will sometimes be seen wandering around giving flowers out to people, and you can discern if they are part of this Mast Cult by their appearance. I'll put their appearance up on screen. You can see that they're very gray and dark, and they seem to be wearing masks. Of course, their name will also potentially include the word mast, as well as a follow-up name. And in case you're curious of the weird lettering, if it does show the lettering, I don't know if that picture does or not. I have to get it later. But the weird lettering, some of them will have capitals in their name, and some of them won't have capitals in their name, and they might have a capital in a random place in their name. The reason for this is because the higher up you go in the cult, the higher up you're trusted, I guess you should say, the more you level up, however you want to say it, the more capital letters you will get in your name. It's a very interesting system and stuff like that. So if you ever see someone that's in this cult and everything in their name is capitalized, then they've probably been in the cult for a while. This cult itself has been around for quite a few years. When I originally reported on it, it was 2 years old, or at least 2 years in the making, so it's probably about 2 or 3 years old by now and stuff like that, if it's even still around. I haven't seen a member of this Mast Cult in a while, but they are still around. They should pop up every now and again, and you never know if they're watching, because that's one of the things they do. They watch you and make sure you're doing good, so be sure to do good, because the Mast Cult might just see you and mask you. or I guess unmask you. I don't even know. But let's move on to the third cult and the most cult-like of them all. That's right. I know you've been waiting for this one. I know you've been waiting for this one for the entire video. This is the most cult-like group of them all. I have 3 videos on this cult. Again, if you're curious, top right corner for the card, or wait till the end screen card at the end of the video. I am, of course, talking about the Order of the Ribbon. The Order of the Ribbon is a very interesting cult, just like the others. It is a very fascinating thing. It's very spooky and creepy, and I remember when I originally reported on this years ago, or however many years ago it was, people were kind of freaked out about this because it was a very mysterious thing, and it seemed like there was real-life elements to it, but it turns out that there was no real-life elements to it at all. But suffice it to say, the Order of the Ribbon, as the name suggests, is a group of characters that, of course, wear ribbons over their face to hide their eyes that they don't have. In one of the rituals, they will actually remove your eyes and then put the bandages over where your eyes would be, and this somehow allows you to see in a different way, I guess. And their whole group, their whole cult is based around watching people and basically just keeping tabs on everything and everyone, and keeping catalogs and chats and stuff like that available to use at a moment's notice, and never really step in unless the world itself is in danger. Now, of course, that's all role-play elements and stuff like that. There's no real-world elements to this, so they're not actually like keeping catalogs on everyone and stuff like that. At least I hope not. God, if they are, then my file must be like a freaking mile high. But the Order of the Ribbon, another thing that they do in some of their rituals is they will actually have you remove your cutie mark and replace it with this really weird red X thing. I believe they remove your mane as well, so I don't think you're allowed to have hair in this cult either, so your mane will go away and stuff like that, and you'll wear this big ribbon on the back of your head and stuff. And they are very simple characters, you know, because there's not a lot of discerning factors in them, a lot of discerning features in them. They have different rankings and systems and stuff like that. There's things like the Grand Silk, Silklings, etc., and it's overall a very creepy thing, but it's very enjoyable to watch and see and stuff like that. I remember, like I said before, years ago when this was a big thing, a lot of people were kind of freaked out about it. A lot of people were kind of spooked by it because it was a really mysterious thing, but it is a very simple thing. It's a very easy thing to understand. They're just a bunch of people that wanted to do something interesting and perhaps bring joy. It was a very fun time to be in Ponytown when they were around. I have seen them recently. I think they had some kind of weird meme interaction with the 10th recently where they fought with baguettes or something like that. I could be wrong, but I don't know. But the Order of the Ribbon is one of the most well-known cults in the game, and if you're lucky, you might still see them in some stoned, walled-off areas, sitting there, very similar to how regiments hold up in these little forts and stuff, but obviously done in a more ritualistic way. So the Order of the Ribbon, that's all about them. Well, actually, one more thing about the Order of the Ribbon is that they don't really talk to people. They will mostly just say the Order watches or say nothing at all in response to whatever you say or do. So there's that. Now, all the while, they're in party chat talking to each other and making fun of everything that they see and interactions that they have and stuff, because it's a fun time. But suffice it to say, that is all the cults except one more. That's right, there's one more cult, and that cult is the Skelecult. The Skelecult is actually the most cult-like group of them all. We all worship the one true goddess, Skelebones, and Skelebones is the most powerful of them all. And Skelebones will reign supreme. They will take their cult, they will take their army and go across the whole land and take over. They will kill and destroy and make it so that everything is banana, and they will take over and make sure everything becomes banana. It is like a banana cult, but it is the Skelecult. So the Skelecult is the most, of course, biggest cult in the entire game. Can't tell me otherwise. And with that said, that does it for the video. I do hope that you enjoyed this little look at some Ponytown cults. If you know any other cults that are in the game, then let me know in the comments below. It's really hard to discern what qualifies as a cult. I was going to originally include the Annans here, but the Annans don't really seem like a cult. They're more of a weird group that I guess in a way worship and not the anonymous nature of the internet. So I don't really know what really to say about the Annans, and they're not really the cults. You know what I mean? They don't really play into the cult thing. So with all that said, if you have any cults that you know about, then let me know in the comments below, and perhaps I can do a full deep dive into that cult. It's been forever since I looked into cults and stuff like that, and with that said, I will now officially conclude the video. I do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please do like, subscribe, share, and do all those wonderful things like that, because when you do those wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.